Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm Saladino. Auntie-Fa are anti-fascist the way that trans women are women. It's newspeak. What the fuck? The sight of this fat, old auntie waddling out on stage to promote a samurai game, the sequel to the sublime Ghost of Tsushima no less, is a spiritual attack.
Hungry for you, my darling. Kiss me and caress me. My darling husband, please.
Holy blood! We're strong in the Lord! The power is might! We're strong in the Lord!
This represents everything wrong with feminism in male spaces. The worst part about it is, despite the fact these people think that they're so much better than their audience, the people who actually built these spaces, despite the fact that these people think they're more noble, more moral, smarter, more mature, more emotionally mature, despite all of that, this is all they can come up with. Take something that men built that inherently appeals to men, something that none of these women or people who pretend to be women would ever think about doing on their own, and just give it to a woman. And then act like they've just saved humanity. And even worse, they act like they've improved the original. Not only improved the original, made it cooler than the original. That's it. The worst thing about these people is that they think they're cooler than their audience, when in reality, this is all they are. Put a chick in it and make it lame and gay. And it's so funny to see all these reviews or these quotes talking about how amazing and great the game is, when these were the same people who complained about Ghost of Tsushima, complained about the cultural appropriation, called fans of the game, including the Japanese fans, fascists, made unhinged articles whining about how the game was somehow inhumane to the Mongol soldiers, the men who were running around raping, pillaging, and killing everybody, because there wasn't English translations for the Mongol NPCs.
Bruh!
You're dehumanizing the murderers, you bigots! You're robbing them of their voice! The same people who, after they couldn't get people to stop playing and praising the game, immediately switched to, the sequel now has to star a woman. I hate cultural appropriation. Japan is full of fascists. Samurais are cops and all cops are bastards. ACAB. But now, because the game is popular, now you have to make it star a woman. And that's exactly what Sucker Punch did. Once I saw that, I knew the press and the 12 psychos on Twitter would suddenly go out of their way to praise Yotai. Now that it's been taken away from men, it's suddenly amazing. So this is an excerpt from Rolling Stone's Ghost of Yotai review, written by the execrable Alyssa Mokunte. The anti-hero Azo deserves. Whereas Tsushima slowly peels back the layers of protagonist Jin like a stubborn taro root, Yotai tells us exactly who Atsu is from the outset. An angry young woman, doggedly chasing vengeance across an island picked apart by selfish lords and the samurai who serve them. She is single-minded and short-tempered, preferring the company of foxes, wolves, and her horse, who I named Shimaki in my playthrough, to people. Of course she does. Leave it to a miserable cunt to praise another miserable cunt.
And if you have a problem with that, come fight me. Physically. Bitch.
Hope you find some peace of mind in this lifetime.
I saw that Yotai review excerpt from Manga Lawyer's Twitter. And in that thread, someone replied, this guy named Denji Kurosaki. Sounds like they completely missed the point of why people idolize samurai in the first place. Samurai are considered cool because of their discipline and sense of duty. A woman driven by anger is the complete opposite of that. I think this gets at something that I meant when I said in my first Yotai video, back when it was first revealed. I'm pretty sure Sucker Punch has cut their sales at least in half by making this decision to have a female protagonist. Men want to play a cool male samurai. They don't want to play as a cool female samurai because they don't see women as cool female samurais. I mean, they got Lady Snowblood, stuff like that. But no. To be fair, besides Lady Snowblood, who wasn't a samurai, there are a couple of cool female samurai-type characters in fiction, like Katana, Lady Deathstrike, but they don't count in the traditional historical sense of samurai. It's like cowboys or cops or soldiers. It's a boys thing.
Jez has those boys cooped up like a pair of jackrabbits, Ethel.
He has his reasons.
Well, I know that, but you can't raise boys to be scared of life. You gotta brew some recklessness into them.
I think that's terrible advice.
No, you don't.
This is what I keep talking about when it comes to feminists invading male spaces. They are destroying masculinity. You go from Jin to this new, angry, bitter bitch who isn't a samurai. And it sounds like the game will be trashing samurais as ACAB. ACAB. To be fair, though, Tsushima was pretty much woke. You know, you had the ugly women, the old hag lesbian lady who you get into a boss fight with, and she's running off half-cocked all the time. You got the old archer dude who's betrayed by this young female student who's like this best student ever. I was aware at the time what was happening, but overall it was all so well done that even though it had those elements, it didn't ruin the game. Obviously, because despite all of that, journos hated the game, so it couldn't have been that woke. But at this point, Sucker Punch is dead to me, just like all the Sony first-party studios. They're all bitch-made. They're all taking male genres, male tropes, and giving them to women. And shitting on what makes these things appealing to men in the first place. So it's no surprise that you have pieces of shit like this Drew person celebrating and joking about Charlie Kirk's death. It's the perfect encapsulation of why people like me are anti-woke. Whether or not this Drew person is a woman, or a guy who thinks he's a woman, he or she is a bitch. It's so bitch-made to kill someone you disagree with, especially when they have such moderate opinions, who is deliberately taken out of context constantly. Because if you had the full context, in most cases, even if you didn't agree, you can at least see where he's coming from, and you can have a debate. But there's something in particular about the feminization of society over the years. And it was already happening for decades now. I guess it started with feminism in the university, and then it exploded over social media. Probably with Tumblr. I feel like Tumblr banning porn is the atom bomb moment for this whole era of woke bullshit. All those Tumblr feminists and LGBT virtue-signaling sociopaths all went to Twitter and turned it into a cesspool. made things much worse, amped everything up to the point where people will boldly celebrate the public murder of someone they don't even know.
These people will build a straw man of you in their minds. They get so fucking mad about it that they celebrate the real you dying. What? The smug, unearned confidence these people have to be openly sociopathic with their full name and face because they live under the pathetic delusion of being on the right side of history needs to end. They will blame you for your death because words are violence. Words are violence, so them killing you is just self-defense. Also, I'm going to be the one to point it out because of course I am. I saw nobody else do it. Why are most of them women? Most of the people celebrating are women. Like, it's a good, 80-20 ratio all over the internet. What is going on, ladies?
I noticed it. Not all women, but women are the driving force behind cancellations, destroying male spaces, insisting that women's issues be platformed in hobbies and pastimes that are popular with men. And the more I saw these women and these homosexuals and these soy men celebrate, it was like, these pieces of shit, whatever. But then when I saw men who didn't look the part of the typical blue sky weirdo celebrating, I was like, wait, what? What's he celebrating for? A moderate Republican is not a Nazi. Even those two clips Abbott and Stephen Knight were beefing over about abortion and school lunch programs are literally basic stances pretty much all conservatives have. That's two of the main back and forth arguments between Democrats and Republicans, going back decades. This wasn't some radical position unique to Charlie Kirk where you go, well, he didn't deserve to be murdered, but he was spreading hate. He did have hateful rhetoric.
The story begins when a Ukrainian woman was fatally stabbed last month in North Carolina. The suspect is a black man, and Charlie Kirk and Van got into a public sparring match online. Kirk claimed the murder happened because she was white. Van denounced that as completely unfounded. Kirk then sent out what Van calls a fire hose of tweets challenging his argument, which Van says sparked death threats against him. In the midst of all of this, Kirk reached out to Van in a direct message on X. Hey Van, I mean it. I'd love to have you on my show to have a respectful conversation about crime and race. I would be a gentleman, as I know you would be as well. We can disagree about the issues agreeably. Now, that message was sent on September 9th. Van says he did not see it until the very next day after Kirk was murdered. This was received the day before he was killed.
Yeah, look, I mean, we were beefing. I don't know, we were going at it online, on air, and then after he died, after he was murdered, my team called and said, Van, he was trying to reach you, man. What? And what was he doing? Dialogue. Let's be gentlemen together. He says, let's disagree agreeably. So I'm sitting on this and I'm watching the whole country talk about civil war, censorship, justifying murder about this guy? This guy is reaching out to his mortal enemy saying we need to be gentlemen, sit down together and disagree agreeably. And the next day he's killed. And I've sat on it long enough and I just said, you know what? We're going to Memorial Weekend for this man. We disagree. Everybody knows we were not friends, okay? At all.
I said this in my last video. The shooter didn't kill Charlie Kirk for his political beliefs and policy positions. That would have been bad enough. But the guy killed Kirk because of identity politics. The shooter's gay, a furry, and probably trans like his boyfriend. Or he's going to say he's trans. But people are celebrating like we got Hitler, when it was just a podcaster who, because they didn't like what he said, they called him a fascist, and thought it was worth killing him over, when they themselves literally have nothing to offer society but pronouns, and mental illness, and narcissism, and a disregard and disrespect for art and culture, for freedom of speech, forcing their ideology and entertainment. This is the environment Kirk was killed in. Again, if something bad would have happened to J.K. Rowling, or Sydney Sweeney, or Jordan Peterson, or Chibi Reviews, Iron Mouse, Kirsha, or Asmongold, they would be celebrating and saying the same thing they're saying about Kirk, and trying to find anything to justify it. And it's one thing when it's women and trans or people pretending to be trans and gay people doing it. Particularly this brand of hysterical, mentally ill, terminally online versions of these groups. But when I see normal, regular guys doing it, celebrating.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Bro, I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
It bothered me, and I was trying to figure out how to articulate it. Like, why are men celebrating this? Men can disagree with each other and still be like,
Probably are. You know what's that? Some of them probably are. Right. But the conversation is inherently loaded. Like if you start talking about, watch out.
Wait.
Hey.
Do not touch my equipment, okay?
You shouldn't be having scissors out on the street, to be fair.
Yeah.
Don't be having scissors out on the street. Like they're like,
He has the right to express his opinion.
Yeah.
Like you gotta you should have your back against the wall.
I know.
So angry.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It's not right.
That's not how democracy works. Democracy isn't about everyone's feelings get hurt.
Can you see why? Because he's saying this is an ideology when it's not.
It is an ideology.
It's nature.
He's here to have a conversation. That's his whole.
Oh my God.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
You have supporters, dude.
Yeah, I know.
you get the stupid woman justifying the weirdo trying to cut the guy's sandwich board. And all the other guys are like, well, talk to him about it. It's a democracy. He has a right to his opinion without some faggot attacking him for it. This is what I expect to see. Here's the thing. You absolutely can and should disagree with Charlie Kirk on any of his takes. Especially policy stuff like the social safety net, for instance, right? I don't know. I guess I kind of consider myself an old school Bernie bro. So there are definitely things I didn't agree with Charlie Kirk about. But this sums up my feelings on his murder perfectly. This tweet here. It's from this guy, 9mm SMG. I never heard of him before. I also found this tweet on Manga Lawyer's profile. So 9mm goes, a friend who used to rag on Charlie Kirk for being too soft and center sent me this.
Shame on the house of Ptolemies for such barbarity. Shame.
You are enemies.
He was a consul of Rome! A consul of Rome. To die in this sordid way. Quartered like some low thief. Shame.
Not all women, but women are the ones behind the destruction of popular culture, particularly those aspects of popular culture enjoyed by men, and not just from within the culture. You know, people like Kathleen Kennedy, who destroyed Star Wars, or groups like Sweet Baby Inc., the Sensitivity Reader Group destroying Western video games. There's also those withered up bitches from Australia, Collective Shout, who are hell-bent on wiping out video games entirely, whether they appeal to men, women, or gays alike. And not just video games. Anime, manga. These shriveled up assholes literally went so far as to pressure payment processors into denying companies payment for selling legal products. This is fascism. It is such a bitchified version of fascism. Collective Shout is exactly the type of name a bunch of lame women would come up with. So lame, in fact, that it's comical. So comical, in fact, that it's kind of at the core of these miserable feminists who think yelling and shouting and screaming is a sign of power.
I am woman, hear me roar, in numbers too big to ignore.
This is what it sounds like when a woman roars.
What a great honor to be able to introduce for the first time ever anywhere the 45th.
Did you know that Italian runner Ludovica Cavalli started her career from the football field and could have become the fastest soccer player on the planet.
Speaking of collective shout, this is Ghost of Yotei's answer to the ghost stance. It's called the... I don't care what it's called.
Spare me, spirit, please! Don't hurt me! Spare me, spirit!
You see, these women really do think that screaming is a superpower.
You are racist.
All she's doing is going, and these fucking dudes, these little homunculi, are falling down, crying, screaming, and shitting themselves.
Don't kill me!
So first I got this red dress. It's a nice material. It's like silky satin material.
This is so lame. They're going after men and male role models and symbols of male power and masculinity because it's the only way their incompetence can survive. It should not be this easy for these vipers to do so much damage. But they're allowed to get away with it and are propped up by the establishment because they know they can't get away with this shit in a time with strong men. Forcing censorship, taking away your right to privacy, being soft on crime, allowing dangerously mentally ill people out on the street instead of locking them up in Arkham and keeping them there. But if you speak out against these things, you're a Nazi, a bigot, a fascist.
Let's start by going in the deep end. One of the many rather provocative and some would say outrageous remarks that you make in your book Sexual Persona, talking about men's creativity versus female creativity, reads like this: if civilization had been left in female hands, we'd still be living in grass huts.
Hey, she cooking, y'all.
Collective shout is just newspeak for cry bullying.
There's a Bible verse I think about sometimes. Many times. It goes, then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send? And who will go for us? And I said, here am I. Send me.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 6.
Yeah. Yeah,